Is Capcom working on a Resident Evil Code Veronica remake? So we just got huge news regarding the modding community for Resident Evil. So according to an article written by Rhiannon Bevan from Game Rant, the recent Resident Evil fan remake of Code Veronica that was in development by a group of Argentinian modders that was actually supposed to release in a couple of days just got cancelled, and it was actually taken down by Capcom. Now this is actually very interesting because Capcom has never been known to send cease and desist letters to modding projects like this one. They're not known for that kind of stuff, especially if we compare them to other companies like Rockstar, for example, who as soon as you make a mod or whatever, they'll send you a cease and desist letter, or like Nintendo, for example, that don't even allow anybody to emulate their games. So this is actually wild to see that Capcom has decided to do this. Now this also begs the question, why now? Why send a cease and desist letter to this group of modders that wanted to do this project of their own fan remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica? It begs the question, is Capcom actually planning on making a remake for Code Veronica? And is this the main reason why they don't want fans to be making their own fan remakes? And the most interesting thing about this news story is that the modders were actually just about to release the finished product, but a couple of days before this happened, they got a letter from Capcom. Now it's kind of crazy because, to be honest, it actually reminds me a lot of the whole thing that occurred with GTA Definitive Edition that just released last year. Right before that game release, Rockstar sent a whole bunch of cease and desist letters to all of these modding communities that were making fan remakes on Unreal Engine 4 of the past GTA games like GTA Vice City, GTA 3, and GTA San Andreas. Now the reason they did this was because, sure enough, they were just about to announce the release of GTA Definitive Edition, so this is very weird, and this could potentially confirm to us that Capcom is in fact working on another remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica after Resident Evil 4's remake release. Now it is worth noting that the developers of the mod of the fan remake did specify that they didn't want people to take this as evidence of a confirmed remake for Code Veronica, and the reason they don't want people to assume this is because of what the letter specifically stated, which was that they were using Capcom-owned characters and as well as a Resident Evil trademark. So if anything, this is really suspicious on Capcom. You know, I'm not buying this whole thing that Capcom isn't working on a remake, because again, why would they target and send this cease and desist letter to this specific modding community? As mentioned before, Capcom isn't known for sending cease and desist letters to the modding communities, so why specifically target these guys out of everybody else? It almost seems as if they were targeted specifically because they were working on the project of Code Veronica fan remake. Now the only way that I would actually believe that Capcom isn't actually working on a remake, and in fact they're just sending cease and desist letters because they were using intellectual property that the developers of the fan remake obviously don't own, is if they start attacking other developers in the modding community. If that happens in the coming months, where Capcom starts sending a whole bunch of cease and desist letters to every fan remake that's happening or any fan project, like for example the recent fan mod that just released I think last year as well, which was the Resident Evil 4 HD project, they never sent those guys a cease and desist letter. But if everybody in the modding community gets a cease and desist letter, then I would actually believe that Capcom just decided to change their tune, and that perhaps they're just making a more aggressive stance in the modding community. But if these are the only guys, the only ones that get targeted in the coming months, then I'm sorry, but this is really sus. And I would actually lean more towards that Capcom is in fact working on a remake. Now the article does state that the fans in the Discord, as soon as they got the news, they were actually suspecting that, oh, maybe Capcom actually shut this whole development team of the fan remake down because they were accepting donations. But the developers of the fan remake specifically told them that they know that that was not the case, and Capcom did not specify anything to suspect that to be the reason. Now the Game Rant article actually does state near the end that they did actually reach out to Capcom and actually ask them to clarify this whole mess that occurred for this whole story, but they haven't written back to them. And you know what? That's not entirely surprising, since as of making this video, it's actually December 24th or Christmas Eve, and you know, in Japan they actually do celebrate Christmas. So yeah, very strange. As mentioned, this is all speculation, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, then click this video where we discuss the huge news that could actually affect the future of the Resident Evil series. I also find it weird that we're getting so much news near the end of the year, but anyways, hope you guys have a great Christmas. Thanks for watching.